All right, happy Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome on into the Hat Creek Interior Studios here in Raiderland, and welcome to Raiderland Rewind, presented by the wonderful folks at Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock. Dr. John Skelton, the founder there, and I want you to check out their website on either Facebook or their webpage for Live Life Well Clinic, and allow them to assist you in creating the life that God has called you to enjoy because they're there to help you. It's complete wellness. It's amazing stuff at Live Life Well Clinic, and John Skelton, great Red Raider as well. Another great victory for Texas Tech, defeating Kent State today, 62-14. We'll get your thoughts on it. We'll give you some of our quick thoughts, but mainly want to hear from you. What impressed you the most about the Red Raiders today? What did you love? What did you like? What were some things maybe you didn't like? What do you want to see more of going forward, less of going forward? All of those things. We'll take a look around the Big 12. What are we doing, Baylor? What are we doing, Baylor? It's double OT, 45-45 Baylor and SMU right now. So all of that today, but mainly it's your comments. So get in on the United Supermarkets chat line. It's real easy to do. Whether you're on Twitter, X at Ryan Hyatt Media. We love all of our folks there on Twitter. Our YouTube channel, always free, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. And then, of course, everybody on Facebook Live. Again, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. We all come together here in the Hat Creek Interior Studios visiting with you today. So, where do you want to start? Total dominance again in the first half. Texas Tech showing the kind of physical dominance up front, offensive line, defensive line that we saw against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Nothing that really happened in the second half. I'm going to put too much stock in one way or the other. The game was over at halftime. A little garbage time touchdown action for the folks from Kent State, which they probably felt like if at least we can get something into the end zone, that's fine. It is also why we cautioned those folks looking at the big 47.5, 48 and a half point line. That's why those games are so hard to carry. That if you are betting those type of spreads, that when a team is clearing out their bench like Texas Tech did for all the second half for the most part. I think maybe the first drive or so in the second half, some ones I saw on the field there on defense. For the most part, you were playing with second, third team, and some guys who maybe aren't even on a team going from there. But so much to really, I think, appreciate on this one again, that Texas Tech, 2 games in a row, has made an inferior opponent look inferior. They have shown the talent gap, particularly on the lines. I mean, everywhere else too, but particularly on the offensive and defensive lines. And what Texas Tech did to them defensively in the first half just absolutely stymied them. It was minus 17 yards total offense deep into the first half for Kent State. You saw Bailey getting a sack, pressure from height. You saw the big man touchdown. We enjoyed the big man touchdown. I think we all did. And you saw Texas Tech completely own that offensive line, take it away from Kent State the way you hoped you would see that. And you see some of the advanced stats, and this is going to be for the full game, so it loses a little bit of the impact. But you did whatever you wanted to again. Your first down total yards compared to theirs, they had 90 first down total yards. In the first half, it was much less than that, obviously, when it mattered. You had 267 yards. Again, first down has been incredibly productive. I think last week Tech averaged almost 9 yards on first down. Today it was 7.2 on that first down efficiency. And if you're winning first down offense and defense, it makes life so much easier. They converted just 2 of 14 third down attempts on the day. You did 6 of 13, but for the most part in the first half when it mattered, you really weren't having a whole lot of opportunities to convert any of those first downs. Again, just the total domination by the defense in the first half when it mattered, what impressed us the most. We'll get your thoughts today. What did you like? What impressed you? What do you want to see more of? Jeff gets in from our YouTube channel. Hello, Jeff. Glad you're there. We're going to be susceptible to that middle screen against better teams because our D is aggressive. Yes and no. And this will depend on what continues. Today, Texas Tech again got tremendous pressure on, what was it, DeShields and Montez with just a base rush. Not even twist, not even stunts, just literally a base rush, almost like a 4-4 gap control type rush where you're not doing anything fancy. I understand what you're saying, Jeff, but if you can get pressure with your base, that means you don't have to bring a linebacker. You don't have to bring anybody else. So you've still got players underneath. You've still got Roberts underneath, Rodriguez, Curry. I'm not too worried about that going forward. I think the biggest concern I have going forward is still about a secondary that just hadn't really had a chance to show me what it can do. That the front has been so dominant, the front has taken away any sort of passing opportunity for the most part, that I really haven't had a chance to see this secondary cover out on anybody. Oregon State, you've got to figure will be better than what you've seen. I hope they are. I hope that I hope Oregon State tests Texas Tech, because you need it before you go to Utah. 100%. We hadn't got to Baron Morton, but Baron Morton's doing everything you want your QB1 to do. He's putting it on the money. He played that first half, did everything you wanted. They go down there and they score right before the end of the half, which is a nice setup. Joey McGuire calling the timeouts. Tech on defense, getting the ball. They had like 40 seconds. Didn't even need all of it. Fine, we'll go down and score. Again, they were trying to create a situation that would put them in a little bit of a pressure situation, a little bit uncomfortable, and Kent State just refused to cooperate and make them uncomfortable. We're glad you're getting in on the show today. We're going to hang out, talk some Texas Tech football, look at scores around the Big 12, college football, anything and everything on your mind today, college football and Texas Tech related. We want to hear from you here on the Raiderland Rewind, brought to you by Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock, coming to you from the Hat Creek Interior Studios. hatcreek.us, the greatest in Western furniture, not in West Texas, not from here to the Rockies, anywhere and everywhere you want to go. So go check out their website. They ship everywhere. If you're in West Texas, go to the showroom on South Slide, 10101 South Slide Road. JC on that YouTube channel, combined two first halves probably met or slightly exceeded expectations, which are high, 11 win high. Well, I mean, we can do that. We can take the first two quarters of both of these games and say, if that were a game, Baron Morton, is thrown for like 600 yards or something, 500 or whatever, has like an 80% completion percentage. His QB rating today, I believe, was $190. That you have completely and utterly dominated the opposition in what you have seen from the ones. And what JC says there, I think, is worth highlighting, that they've met or slightly exceeded very high expectations. It's been a long time since you saw a Texas Tech team go out and beat bad teams badly. A long time. In back-to-back games, no letdown. Larry jumps in on the rewind. Glad to have you, Larry. Invite your friends. And by the way, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, all that, give us thumbs up, give us likes, share it. Same thing on Twitter X. We love our Twitter X people. You guys fire away your questions so we can hear from you today. And all the replay people watching later on, you can get me on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media, and we'll be happy to take your questions throughout the afternoon and evening. Larry, quarterbacks were good. Concerned about those high throws. They really need to get their timing tightened up. Now, there were a couple of times where Morton, I think, was just trying to really uncork and unleash inside the 15, inside the 10-yard line, particularly a couple of times on Carter. I think there was maybe one on Virgil down there that he's just absolutely uncorking it. Okay, I get it. I understand. We'll get to some of the offensive red zone play calling and goal line play calling, because I watched that in real time today on Twitter, some of the reaction to that. And I've got some thoughts on that. And I'll tell you why we saw what we saw, or at least why I believe what we saw and why we saw what we saw. I do want to throw this out here too early. We can have this discussion. For those of you who were watching the TNT broadcast today with JB Long and Mike Golick Jr., who sounds so much like his dad, you're like, oh, that's cool. And then Ali LaForce in the stands throwing tortillas. What was it sure looked like on social media people were loving this crew, that Tech fans were loving the presentation of the Big 12, the pregame show. They had Michael Crabtree in the studio. So if you even want to talk about that today, which was certainly more entertaining than the second half of the game, fire away. Jeff, again, O-line needs to be better in short yardage. Stopped on the goal line twice last week, again today in short yardage a couple of times. They weren't doing anything interesting in those goal line situations. They weren't showing their hand. They weren't showing Oregon State or Utah State or anything other than just a straight power base with Dickey, particularly, when he gets what is his second touchdown that took a couple of tries. There was no misdirection. I don't believe I saw a single pulling guard. And I think that was by design, that you just go, all right, we're just going to flat line up and run over these people. You won't see that play call. You won't see that setup and that blocking scheme against quality teams. You just won't. You'll see misdirection. You'll see counter. You'll see boot. You'll see G blocks, kickouts, inside trap. But today they were just lining up and going at it. I mean, yeah, okay, Kent State not very good, but if you just run right at me and I'm in a goal line defense, I've got a chance to stand there and get a stop maybe. Not worried at all by any of that today. When we have seen them 20 to 20, 40 to 40 line up, a little different deal. JC, funny how you mentioned secondary. Was hoping as coaches mix and match groups would play first secondary, second front. Yeah, it's hard to in real time look at that participation chart play by play. You really have to go back and look at it and see who was out there at different times. Again, not worried about it, or I'm not going to overthink it right now, just because I just hadn't seen the secondary get tested yet. Have we ever been this stacked at QB? I give you Cliff Kingsbury and B.J. Simmons, and there was some other cat there too early on that I can't think of his name, but I think he went and became a hairstylist. Not being funny. Yeah, you've had good quarterback combinations over the decades and years and everything else. But I think what you feel good about is you've already seen a lot out of a young Will Hammond, certainly last year thrown into the fire, playing, if not meaningful snaps. We've changed his name to Wills Hammond. You feel good about that. And then I think the ace in the hole is how much better is Mitch Griffiths as a third-string quarterback than what you've seen over the last several years if you had to get to a third-string quarterback. He is an absolute luxury. And when he was running today, I'm like, hey, you got one job to do, dude. Stay healthy. That's all. Just stay healthy. But I think Mitch Griffith's probably better than a lot of Big 12 teams' second-team quarterback, certainly with his experience level. Randy Wade, Oregon State on the CW if you want to check out the next man up. We'll give it a look and see what they got. Chris talking about the television broadcast today. Thought TNT did a really good job with the coverage. What did you like about the coverage today? Yeah, going back, Cody Hodges gets on campus in 03, 02, 03, 03 maybe. Might have been a freshman on that team where Cliff's a senior. No, because 03, Cliff was 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. I don't think Hodges would have been a part of the Cliff. He wasn't a part of the Cliff mix. He was still at Hereford playing meaningful games against Friendship. Damon says the TV crew was definitely better than any ESPN crew. ESPN will always be against Tech in their calling of the game. Itchy nose today. JC Chef kisses to TNT pregame about the game. And inappropriate. Incorporate that story through broadcast. No pimping overhyped SEC. Jeff, TNT coverage was Chamber of Commerce material. I mean, the dudes were out and about. I don't know how they had time to do any game prep. They got in, I think, Thursday night, and they apparently ate everywhere in Lubbock. And I'm impressed they were able, apparently, to work that in on the broadcast and get a lot of stuff in. Here's the deal. I think they did a great job knowing that they were going to be calling a blowout game and that nobody really wants to hear about that third or fourth string guy. They want to hear about anything interesting. They got Cody Campbell in the booth with them for a while. By the way, we need to have a conversation with Cody. Chairman of the Board of Regents goes in. Immediately 2 touchdowns are scored by Kansas State. Do we think this is coincidental? No, we do not. Robert Christopher, Kansas up 21-6. And we've gone final. Baylor has come back and beaten SMU 48-45. The Baylor's carried the standard for the Big 12. Cincinnati's up early in Kansas in the border war. Missouri not flying that black Q flag, if you know what I mean, 14-6. A lot of scoring early on. And the fighting Colorados against the battling Blue Hens, fighting Blue Hens of Delaware, 7-0 early on. We'll take a peek as well as we go through. This is Raiderland Rewind presented by Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock, coming to you from the Hat Creek Interior Studios. Tech went 62-14. What did you like? What did you not like? What impressed you? What do you see more? Want to see more of going forward for this team? Uh, these are hard, not hard shows to do. These are hard games to really break down and go, all right, this is a significant moment, or this series right here was significant. What was it I said? I'm going to go back on my notes here. See, and we actually, we take notes here. At the point where you had actually, your first bad series of the season. You went like 9 yards. Yeah, you went 16 yards in 9 plays and had the ball for 3:10 there right before the half, and you kick a 47-yard field goal with Stone Harrington. Feel pretty good about the kicking game right now? I think you feel pretty good. Belichick got the first one. Harrington maybe the long-range dude, and then just kicking it out of the end zone. But, yeah, so that discombobulated with the holding penalty. I think you had a false start in there somewhere else, and you just weren't really doing much. And you still score on your worst series of the year. Chris getting in on that United Supermarkets chat line. By the way, game's over. You can hit United Supermarkets, fuel up for tonight, all the game watching. Got to admit it, right? You like the 11 o'clock start like media people like me. Look how much more football we have. Look how much more of the day we have, and we get ready for the NFL, and you can do that at United Supermarkets at Market Street. Damon talking about free advertising for Spankies and Evie Mays there on the broadcast. Yeah, how much is that worth? You can tell they've done their homework. Tech, most ESPN commentators just go through the motion. Think Natalie, I'm not going to call out on radio broadcast in a cast. Huh? What? I'm confused on that. Oh, maybe this will clear that up. Dear Hyatt, Vic Natalie Maines, who may or may not be the real Natalie Maines. How are you? I'm fine. The TNT crew was great. Anywhere Allie LaForce shows up, the broadcast is better, just so you know. Love you. Talking about Allie LaForce, not loving me, but Allie LaForce. And Robert Christopher, just like saying Terrence Carter Jr. Terrence Carter Jr. and Reggie Virgil are full-grown men. So is Coy Aiken. As I wrote down, those three receivers are going to be an absolute handful, whether you are Arkansas Pine Bluff, Utah, or anybody else. And you've just scratched the surface, I think, on what you can do with them. Was it Carter that dropped one? It was almost like he was fielding a punt. And I think was it in the first quarter, and he ends up dropping it. He was over by the sideline down the right side. And I really think what happened, it was almost like a baseball player who thinks he's closer to the wall than he is. And I think he was really thought he was going to step out of bounds and lost sight of the ball, just maybe a tick or whatever. Oh, they will play that forwards and backwards on him in film study tomorrow. Dallas gets in on Facebook. Love our Facebook people. Ryan Heights, Raiderland. I want to remind everybody, all of our platforms are free. Subscribe to them all. We'd love to go over 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel during the season. So if you watch on Facebook or Twitter and you hadn't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go to Ryan Heights Raiderland on YouTube. Do it. It's fun. Dallas, hard to tell in a 62-point game. But the O-line wasn't getting great push. That could be concerning against real teams. They got pushed when it mattered. I think the only time you just sit there and said, okay, was at the goal line. They weren't doing anything fancy. We talked about it a little bit earlier. There was no counter. There was no G. There was no anything. And they didn't want to show anything of their goal line package for the upcoming opponents. So you just go, all right, we'll run it down your throat. Well, even a bad team can sit there. If they're lined up and they're stacked in goal line defense, you run right in them. Even a team that's outmatched, you can hold on for a play or two. I mean, I am not concerned at all about the push on the O-line. I've seen enough. And 20 to 20, 40 to 40 in the middle of the field. When they need to get a block, they get a block. I ain't worried about that. I ain't got no reason to be concerned about that until I got a reason to be concerned about it. What I saw at the goal line was nothing to be concerned about. They were who they were supposed to be. Dennis Green on Texas Tech's performance, probably. Big Kirkpatrick, great Red Raider. We got dudes where we need dudes. You wanted dudes, you got dudes. Any game more fun when you get a big man touchdown. He's same one who last week, said in postgame, I love Texas Tech so much I don't want to take my jersey off. Running game looks good, says Jeff. Post-Taj, I'm fine with what we're seeing right now. Of course, everybody had Adam Hill, redshirt freshman out of Albany, Texas, as your first 100-yard rusher on the season, right? I mean, we all had that preseason knowing that Adam Hill would roll off for a $127 today, 16 yards, 36. Williams today, 9 carries for 54. And then Dickey, 6 for 10. You just, you didn't have to use him a whole lot. So, and he was kind of more in that short yardage and everything else. 601 total yards. So I was wondering if that was going to settle it. Okay, it did settle it over 600. So 601 total yards officially. I figured if it didn't, they would go back and regrade it and just go and say, all right, yeah, we actually got 600 yards. We do that. They do that sometimes. They regrade each film every season. Robert Christopher, bad early season trends around college football, throwing deep in short yardage situations. If it's third down, it's a team that's already decided they're going to go for it on a fourth down. Typically, you hear them talk about that from an analytical standpoint, that going into third down, and if you already know you're doing it, you got some different play calls on how you're going to operate. I think that has led to some of that deep shot situation and everything else. And Damon, out of nowhere, new home is a tough place to play and win. Or are you talking about the new home of the Red Raider? I don't know. So you guys jump in, get your questions, comments in. We'll go as long as you guys make it fun and entertaining. We can take a look around some of the other Big 12 games, which I have not watched a lick of. I've been entirely focused on Texas Tech. So y'all probably have spent more time seeing other games and what has transpired around the league and around the country today than I have. I have seen some interesting scores for sure, but I've been more interested in watching the Scarlet Death defense do its thing again. Man, this is going to be fun to watch, all right? 2:30 next week, and you just go with me on this. How many of y'all want to see Texas Tech challenged at least a little? Or do you want another 62-14 win? I know that sounds crazy. Why would you not want a 62-14 win? But isn't there just a little bit of, I want to see how this team reacts to some adversity. They've had zero adversity through the first 8 quarters of play. And that's great. That's wonderful. But before you roll into Salt Lake City, isn't there a little bit of you out there that just say, hey, I want to see this team get punched in the mouth a little bit and see how they punch back. When they have to do something, how will they handle it? Because Utah ain't going to be easy. Jeff says he'd go with a 42-28 game next week. Be interesting to see what that line comes out at. 14.5, somewhere between 14 and 17. I could see 13.5, maybe. I don't see 13. I think they're going to hang a 14 on there and dare people to bet them out of it early on. We'll see tomorrow when they start putting the numbers up there at Circa and some other places. But and this is why I wish Texas Tech were playing better competition. You love the easy wins. You love the fact that you're making bad teams look bad, that you are showing physical dominance and separation. But at a certain point, what about these 2 games other than reps, which the reps in practice are probably better as far as being tested, other than putting on the uniform and going out in front of the cheerleaders and the pom squad, the dance squad, and whatever else you got on down there. The going band from Raiderland. What's it really doing for you? Giving you great confidence, that's fine. And the reps are needed with so many new faces all over the place. There's just a bit of me that would like to see this team next week face just a little bit of adversity. As they said in Monty Python, just a little bit of peril, a wee bit of peril. Let's see, checking in on some scores from around the Big 12 as Texas Tech wins 62-14. You're on Raiderland Rewind, brought to you by and presented by Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock, Texas. Coming to you from the Hat Creek Interior Studios. Cincinnati opening up over Bowling Green 14-0. Shutout going on in Folsom and Boulder at Folsom Field. 12-10 to go in the second. 10-0. Colorado in front of Delaware. It's 21-6 now. with just 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Kansas over Missouri. Kansas going to be a problem. Going to be a problem. We got a KU problem coming up there on the, what is that, the 11th? 9, 10, 11, can't remember, of October. Oregon will beat Oklahoma State by a hell of a lot. It's 20-0 now. The whole Mike Gundy whining about Oregon, I think I said Oregon. Oregon beat Oklahoma State bad. 20-0 Ducks, 328. Lanning will not call the dogs off. Basically, Mike Gundy is doing everything I can to orchestrate his demise and get out of there. West Virginia and Ohio scoreless in the first 5:40, and then we told you about Baylor. I thought Baylor won this thing in overtime, 48-45. CBS showing a wrong score. Iowa State wins the Cyhawk battle, 16-13. Boy, that was an offensive display, I'm quite sure. Beck for 134 yards passing. Iowa State. That's just what you thought. Utah, Cal Poly later tonight. Kansas State, Army. Kansas State, you're going to show up this week, right? Army lost to Tarleton. You're going to show up this week, right? Kansas State, UCF, North Carolina A&T at 6. Houston, Rice. Who was it? Heartland Sports. They do a great job covering the Big 12. Talking about some old rivalries renewed. Rice and Houston was never a rivalry. Sorry, in the short time that Houston was in the Southwest Conference, they were confident. Rice and Houston, never a rivalry. Arizona State at Mississippi State. That's a big game tonight on ESPN2. Arizona and Weber State tonight. And then finally, BYU will do dirty things to Stanford as the Andrew Luck story. I can't wait to see what the dearest mother tweet will be after this one. As BYU, I think, will cover the 20.5 spread. All right, I'll get you guys back on the United Supermarkets chat line this afternoon. Let's talk some Red Raider football, winning easily 62-14. What's impressed you the most? Are there individuals that have surprised, impressed, or otherwise that you've really liked? So far, the newcomers seem to be as advertised. What do you like there? The biggest negative so far, and I think Joey McGuire mentioned it, post-game radio with Chris Level on the Tech Network and maybe on TV, and I don't know. The special teams have been really good, minus the return penalties. The holds on the returns are just killing this team on hidden yardage and punt return yardage. Other than that, McCarty seems to get a hand on every punt. The returnmen have done a nice job. They had a lot of chances to return kickoffs, so who the hell knows what that looks like. That's whatever. And then Burgess, first punt today, and Corks won 47-48 yards. So really the only thing, you just go and you look to hammer something, go, well, the penalties on special teams hurt you. I mean, you could have had, 69 points today. JC, did you just name the D? It's better than good enough. Yeah, the good enough D. The Scarlet Death defense, much better than the good enough defense from years past. Damon, Fresno stayed up on Oregon State 7-6 early in the second. Oregon State may not be very good. Jeff, the Fighting Matt Campbells are still my dark horse for the Big 12 champs. We'll see. I mean, I guess breakthrough year last year. I still don't trust Campbell, and don't trust Tim as a coach to go win just 10 or 11. When you got to get 10 or 11, he's really capable of getting you 7 or 8 or fewer than that. It feels like. But, we'll go from there. I'd love to give you just some cool stat breakdowns, but they're just not there in this one. Other than what we kind of went through earlier on some of the advanced stats and everything else. Let's see. You did give up your first big play of the year. What was it? The second half, they finally got a play of over 15 passing yards against the Texas Tech defense. So we had that. You finally had a drive that didn't end in points after 8 quarters or something like that. So, your first half stats are they're rushing attempts, 19 attempts for 0.2 yards on average. They had -4 rushing yards in the first half. How you want to analyze that? You're 4 of 8 on third downs. They were 1 of 8. Total plays, they ran 30 to your 44. They averaged 1.7 per play. You had 3 sacks in the first half. I mean, that's the only time anything mattered, right? It was in the first half when we go look at the stats. The Jones looks good on TV. The South end zone, sorry, allergies and everything else. That and a nice little stomach virus that we woke up with about 3:08 this morning, 3:06 this morning. That was a good way to start the day and everything else. We're getting through it. The Jones looks good on TV. South end zone is awesome. Yeah, I mean you've got a showplace stadium now that TV directors obviously really enjoy shooting inside Jones Stadium. You've got long shots that look good. Well, I still kind of miss the old athletic training center bubble with the old double T scoreboard. It looked like a UFO had landed there in the south end zone, beyond the stadium. I still kind of miss that at night. That's okay. No, it is so visually compelling. The south end zone looks like something out of, the Roman Colosseum days. Then the whole thing with it all finished around and finished out on a stadium, it is an environment, a football environment to me that it is good. There are places that hold fans. Okay, if that's your deal, great, fine, whatever. 60,000 can be as loud as 100,000 when they're making noise. David, looking ahead, what time and what channel will Tech play against Utah in 2 weeks? Won't be announced probably this week. I don't know if they'll put it on that 6-day deal, but the conference will make those announcements. We'll get the conference games starting on some roll out Sunday night. I know some roll out Monday morning. So I don't think we'll know. I guess we could know maybe Monday if they know for sure what they're going to do. But I don't know whether they want to put that as a night game, whether they want that as a featured midday game, which slot and how. Your guess is as good as mine. It should be the featured Big 12 game of the day, 100%. So whatever they consider the best slot, that's what they ought to give you. Personally, I hope it's kind of midday or nothing later than 6:30 Central. I don't want Tech to have to go out there and wait around all day for a night game start there at Utah. Suboptimal, in my opinion, if they do that. Robert Christopher celebrated the win with a bacon jalapeno cheeseburger and on a glazed donut bun. Nap time quickly approaching. Golly, I wouldn't have been able to handle that today. I had me some nice cheesy rice, and I was like, oh, this is good. Some ginger ale. Could be a Big 12 after dark game. I hope not, because this should be the featured game. And the reason you've got teams like Utah and those Pac-12 teams into the Big 12, they wanted to showcase the best product earlier in the day when people could see it. So if you're Brett Yormark, you better make damn sure this is played during the day where people can see it, or at least prime time Central time. Otherwise, what are we doing here, right? What's the point? JC, I know sample size is bad and small, but Barron's ADOT has not been trending above targets last year. Sample size, very small. Average depth of target, we'll see. He hits the play action pass for the touchdown. They'd soften him up a little bit, said it was time to pop it, and then they come right back and pop it. Well, I'll reserve complete judgment on depth of target as we go through these next 2 games, and then I think we'll really know what you can do against some other teams. I do think the play action, though, has been fantastic early on. Again, small sample size. I like the play action scheme. Haven't seen a whole lot of wasted little hit screen sideline passes or anything like that for the most part, so that's good. So to that end, we'll wait and reserve judgment on that depth of target after the Utah game. So far, I like what we've seen. I mean, Carter drops a long one today. He had a long drop, I think, last week. I can't remember who had that. So I think I feel good on that. I feel good on where we are. It's kind of interesting early on. I thought Kent State was trying to really force things to be underneath, and trying to keep that middle depth. Run it a little underneath that second line, talking about their defense, and invite you to do that. So, okay, you take what you give them to a certain point, but then you make them pay for it, and you did. I think the best example was the play action pass. Go back a couple of notes before. Yeah, we'll hang on as long as you guys want to talk football today. 21-0 game. Where do we start? Yeah. That was the one to Virgil on the play action with the double pump on the 35-yarder after they'd been, running the ball a little bit. You had Virgil for 6. Williams was really running it well. Tossed to Dickey, and off you go. So, I mean, that's when it was still a football game. The TNT guys know that Clay Aiken is a singer and not a wide receiver for Tech. The love for this broadcast crew today on social media was really impressive to watch, and all day long, really. And the people out there, you people out there, seem to really like the pregame show. I mean, we may be onto something here, and more importantly, maybe what if TNT decides, hey, the Big 12, these are our guys, that you could have a powerful media ally. Are they, quote, as big as Fox or ESPN? Not necessarily, but they're there. They're on TV. They're putting it out there. People are seeing it. But the reaction to the broadcast crew today, I can't recall a more positive reaction from the Tech fan base on social media in a long time. And I know Tech's winning. I know it's easy for them to say good things. What will you say about that crew if Texas Tech is playing a game and they're down 10 to fill in the blank or whatever? I know it's easy to say that, but boy, across the board, everybody seemed to like the product. And then having this game on TNT is much better than ESPN Plus. 100% agree on that. The more games you can get to TNT, and whoever else wants them away from an ESPN Plus setting, the better. Because the ESPN Plus games are we're just put it on there to put it on there. They really don't care. The unofficial text line. Well, I can't read that. Can't read that. I guess I could, but that wouldn't be proper. So 62-14, your final chance to go through. Tell us what you're thinking. Give us your thoughts going into next week. Of course, we'll have a full week on the daily broadcast to break down Oregon State and get you ready for that. Every night, 6:30, the daily broadcast rolls your way from right here in the Hat Creek Interior Studios. Take your questions, comments, have a lot of fun. Monday, we'll be recapping the whole weekend. We have not. We'll probably discuss more Monday night. But quality overreactions to the Kansas City Chiefs losing Game 1 in Brazil to San Diego. Find myself. Los Angeles Chargers. They'll always be San Diego to me. So it's pretty obvious it's over for the Chiefs. I don't know how they bounce back. Going to be tough to win any divisional games, I think, at this point. I mean, it was basically a coin flip game going in, and the coin landed on the wrong side. And this time, the late inning magic for the Kansas City Chiefs, it wasn't there. Is this game different at Arrowhead? Should the Chiefs have ever agreed to play a divisional game in Brazil? I would agree with people who say that was a dumb decision pre-game, a dumb decision during the game, and a dumb decision after the game. The quest to be the international team from the NFL, as Clark Hunt, I believe, said during the week or whatever. You don't need to worry about that. But yeah, I'm not ready to concede that Kansas City can't be a force and play for another AFC title this year after losing a close game to a Chargers team that has probably underperformed the last couple of years and beginning to put together a few things with Justin Herbert. O-line depth still a work in progress. I agree with that statement from Timbo there that you won't see You won't see the 2s and 3s all out there together going forward. That you'll see a guy work in, but you'll see, 4 1s and a 2. But you're not, your goal, you hope, is that you're only subbing in at a spot, not a wholesale change. Now, somebody will say, well, wouldn't they play better, more cohesively together? Not necessarily. So from that standpoint, yeah, if that second O-line were your O-line, you'd be telling Cody Campbell to go out and buy you some offensive linemen. JC, thanks. Feel better. Hey, we're feeling a lot better this afternoon. We rallied some this morning. Just once you get that out of your system and everything. And thank you, Ginger Ale. We're percolating along. We're gonna be fine. There's some sort of stomach bug going around. I think my son had it, I guess, Thursday night and all day Friday. And I think I may have not caught it from him, but I think there's just probably something going along that's just like this little. It's not like an intestinal flu, but it's a good weight loss program. Highly recommend it. They would not recommend that at Live Life Well Clinic. Dr. John Skelton would not approve of me saying that stomach bug was a weight loss program. I retract that statement. Damon, haven't looked at the week 4 schedule, but is there any chance that any of the pregame shows will be at Tech and Utah? I guess if they're both undefeated, I mean, obviously ESPN and those folks aren't going to be there. I don't know that Fox Sports would choose that one. It'd be cool if they did that, if they want to do that. But yeah, I don't, because Tech's not going to move up. This is not going to be a top 10 matchup. All right. This is not going to be a matchup like that going in. Neither team's going to have that kind of quote rating or ranking juice or anything else. So while that would be nice, I think your first chance for that would be when Kansas maybe comes to Lubbock, if they're rolling and you're rolling, and you hang up a nice number against Utah and Kansas stays clean between now and then. That second game in October, what is that after you go to Houston? Get the bye week, then you go to Houston. So I think that would be the first real opportunity that because you still got to work your way up the rankings to get that kind of consideration. Then certainly after that, you'd have opportunities there with Arizona State and then that BYU game. I don't know. Kansas State. Who the hell knows about Kansas State anymore? They're the biggest mystery meat to me right now in the Big 12 is Kansas State early on. Baylor, they've got some defense issues. They are not controlling the line of scrimmage at all, apparently, and couldn't do it today against SMU. Against Auburn, it was one thing, but the Aranda defense right now, to me, seems to be the thing that you question. Their running game has not been good up to now. They're putting everything on Sawyer Robertson's arm. But so you've got two teams that were highly thought of going in to the regular season in the Big 12 that Baylor gets a win, but barely, and then Kansas State barely last week. And we'll see what they do against Army. If they struggle against Army, a team that lost to Tarleton State, no offense to our good friends at Tarleton State, then we got something we really need to pay attention to with Kansas State, to which I would say I want Kansas State to be good so you beat a good team. You want every team on your schedule to be as good as possible so you can beat them and benefit from it. Just getting to the Big 12 title game might not be enough for a Big 12 team if they have a loss or two. That's going to be the metric. You wait for it. You got to wait for it. But just getting to the title game may not be enough for certainly a 2-loss team in this league and maybe a 1-loss team. And I'm talking about losing in the Big 12 title game. Bob, I hope the Oregon State game is not a tester. Everyone is already looking at Utah. Beat the Beavers first. Well, Bob, we want Oklahoma State to provide some sort of modicum of a challenge. We want Oregon State to punch Tech in the mouth a little bit and see how they react. We want Texas Tech to face a wee bit of adversity before they go to Utah. So from that standpoint, I hope Oklahoma State comes in here and, looks like a legitimate football team and makes you do some things. Robert Christopher, the statement, work your way up the rankings is what's wrong with the rankings. Well, I agree, but it's the reality of the rankings. I can't change that this year. I wish I could. I can't. But that's the reality. You've got to work your way up the perception ladder, if you want to call it that. But it's just real. Jeff, KSU is a dumpster fire. JC, come Monday, and it will be all right. But Tech may drop and not be ranked. Yes, sir. Go Iowa State. Yeah, I don't even know who's like around them that could throw them out of the rankings. But that's what you get for playing Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Kent State. Sorry, I didn't schedule it. All right, you guys have been great, fantastic. We appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with us here in the Hat Creek Interior Studio. We will be back with you Monday, but don't fret. Come tomorrow, 5 Things We Know on a Sunday column will be ready to go for you. We venture outside the world of sports, so you'll see that on the site at theraiderland.com. We'll archive this as well at theraiderland.com. We want you to share it with your friends and invite them in and tell them how much fun you have hanging out on the Rewind, brought to you by the Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock, headed up there by Great Red Raider and Dr. John Skelton. I want you to visit their Facebook page and their website. Drop by the Power of 5, all of our advertisers, and tell them thanks on social media for being a part of Raiderland. It's huge. And when you guys do that, just report back on Twitter and say, hey, man, went over to Hat Creek Interior Facebook page, told them hello. Same thing, Live Life Well Clinic, United Supermarkets. We love that. Our sponsors love that. Any type of media you enjoy, do that for their sponsors. That's how you keep programming like this alive and well. In fact, living life well, one might say. Texas Tech wins at 62-14. We appreciate everybody out there. We'll see you later on the site at theraiderland.com.